Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, those of the unspecified gender, and today I want to talk to you about games as a live service, as EA puts them. So games like Anthem, so Destiny, Division, to a lesser extent Monster Hunter, all those types of games, and the mistakes that Anthem has made, and the ones that they have already made, that other games have made, and the new mistakes they made, and why Anthem is failing as much as it is. So first off, the first kind of game we have to talk about is Destiny, since it is kind of the progenitor of all these types of games. So obviously there have been games as a live service before, like MMOs and all that shit, but I'm talking specifically about the big AAA ones that came out on consoles, all that good shit. So Destiny was kind of the first type of these games, and it kind of had a lot to live up to, and in a lot of areas it did succeed, apart from mainly the story and a few interesting design choices. Mainly the fact that the story was non-existent, even though they had a bunch of time and there was a big story developer, Bungie. But as we all know, that's Activision's fault, and Activision is the one we blame, and thank God that Bungie is now separated from Activision, so hopefully the Destiny franchise will have some proper, good old-fashioned, proper storytelling, the multiplayer is fine in most respects, proper balancing. Hopefully the next game, which I am actually looking forward to if they do make Destiny 3, hopefully Bungie will get that right, and we will all know that it is Activision to blame, and considering what Activision has done recently, we can kind of see that it is Activision. Now, the next game, obviously, is The Division, which is kind of the awkward brother of all these games. It's like how you had the Xbox 360, the PS3, and then out of nowhere is the Wii. Except, you know, the Wii was fun to use, and Division, when it was released, was bland, boring, and completely uninspired. And why I say that is because it wasn't interesting. The whole premise was there was a virus, it killed everyone, or it killed a lot of people, that's it. The virus didn't do anything unique, it just killed everyone off, and everyone you fight after that is just some dude from some faction who's controlling the city. So there's no other enemies, there's no interest in the day-night cycle, there's no real point, there's no zombies, there's no nothing. It's one of those games that makes you realize just how important zombies can be, even though there are a shitload of zombie games and no one wants to play any more zombie games. And now we have Anthem, which is the game that is the most disappointing, because it really should have learnt from Destiny and Division. But not only did it not learn, it had made mistakes in areas that weren't mistakes in the other games. So not only did they not correct the mistakes of the other games, they actually made it worse. So, for example, Destiny's loot is amazingly fun. That's the draw-in of these types of games. You know, you want to find loot, you want to look cool, you want to look unique. Anthem fails in this spectacularly, because you don't get to find loot, you don't get to find new armor sets just out in the world. EA actively makes you pay for them. That's what's in the microtransaction store. If you want to look cool, either you brought the Legion of Dawn edition, or there's, I think, one or two other types of armor sets that are actually in your forge where you can design them, but you have to pay in-game money. You have to pay the in-game currency for that. Or you can go to the store and find new armor sets and either earn the money in-game, which you're not going to do because, you know, you don't care by the time that the store is already open, or pay for them. pay, what was it? £4. £4 for a shader or a skin. And I say £4 because while it isn't actually £4 in the currency, the minimum amount you can buy of this currency is £4. So you are paying £4 for this. You are putting in £4 into this account to spend on a colour. Not only is that not worth it, it's insulting. First of all, microtransactions shouldn't exist in any AAA game in any way at all. There should never be a thing in AAA gaming. If you are making a £60 game or $60 game, or I don't know what the exchange rate is, if that is the type of game you're making, you complete it, you make sure the game is up to standard. And by up to standard, I mean up to standard. I don't mean as in the minimum possible effort you can put in and then promise gamers that you're going to make it better. No, you make a game first, and then when the game is worth it, if you release it and it is worth it, people are going to come and buy more. That's how it works. The better your product is, the more people want it. But here, they're just taking advantage. They know that people are going to come in, mostly children, with their parents' accounts, and are just going to sit there and go like, I want to look cool, I've got my mom's account on here, I will pay for that, I will pay for this, I will pay for that. And they don't have to try. It's a major thing with EA. It's all EA's been doing for the last decade and a half. So that's one area they messed up on. Two is the story, which is somehow they've managed to make a story but make it completely uninteresting. And we have both Destiny and The Division to look at. So no one ever mentions The Division's story. It never gets talked about online. It's always like, oh, it had a story mode. No, that's not what people are playing The Division for. People play Destiny for both the story and the multiplayer, because both of those, relatively compared to the other ones, are pretty good. Destiny's main issue in the first game was that it had moments of interest in its story, and they completely dropped the ball, and then it was finished. It was done. That was all there was. Destiny 2 started on a really high note, but you didn't really care about the villain. You know, Gary. No one cares about Gary. And there was a lot more interest, but it wasn't there, if you get what I mean. The DLCs for Destiny 2, the one where they killed off the only character anyone likes, Cade 6, because he is the most interesting character, is much better than the Destiny 2 original story. Even though the story starts great, and for quite a while it does have great traction, it eventually trails off. Anthem's story kind of starts alright, you see kind of interest, and then the moment you start meeting characters, it just plummets. There is nothing interesting in Anthem's story. You are not playing for the story. Hell, you aren't even playing for the missions. Okay? I played with my friend Fade, or iTalents as some people might know him, or yesterday, and he's playing it for the first time, and he's doing the first story, and he said to me after he completed this first mission where you had to go find Matthias, he said, well, that wasn't immersive at all. Because he's right. There was no immersion. You didn't care about what you were doing. You had gotten in your suit, blown off, killed some things, killed some more things, killed some things over there. Then you found out you had found Matthias, and it's like, oh, it's over. That was the thing. Destiny's missions had more interest, and that's mainly because they were just done better. There were multiple layers to Destiny's missions, so you could be going along, you could could be doing the mission, and then out of nowhere you could walk into a cutscene, and then you'd have to continue on. This doesn't happen. There aren't multiple layers to Anthem storytelling. So when you're in game and you're doing a mission, you go do the mission, and that's it. That's it. There's no halfway cutscene. There's no something taken out, put back in. There's nothing interesting. You don't care. Even the main villain, the Monitor, no interest. No interest in. Uninspired mission design. Completely uninspired mission design. Even worse than Destiny's mission design. The original Destiny's, you know. How it was, oh, find a thing, turn it on, shoot some things, their mission done. It is, for a lot of it, the same thing in Anthem until you get to the roadblock. This is where a lot of people fall off the game. This is where I have fallen off the game. I refuse to go anywhere past. I only open it up when I just want to dick around in the world, which it is good for. Anthem is good at doing, oh, I dick around in the world, shoot a couple of things for an hour, then I go to work. That's essentially what you're playing Anthem for. The roadblock in Anthem is a mission where you have to find these tombs, okay? So you're looking for this great general's tomb because her javelin could fly into these cataclysms or the Heart of Rage or whatever they call it. And it could help save the world, essentially. You want to find this suit so you can go save the world. In order to get to this suit, you have to go to different tombs and unlock their challenges. Now you go to these tombs, these challenges aren't, oh, you find the tomb, then you go in and you have to do something based around this person's tomb. Like, you have to do some architecting, you have to do a sniping challenge. No. These challenges are going around the world, doing world events, killing 50 enemies, killing 30 enemies, and there are like 5 of these tombs that you have to do. You know, kill 50 enemies, get 50 combos, do 5 world events. So when you do them and you think, okay, that was a fucking slog, but hey, maybe if I go in, there'll be something interesting. No, you go in, you see the tomb, and it's just going in there and there being a little tomb. There's nothing interesting in here. You pick up the thing and you leave. At this point, no one's going to care. At this point, when you've put that in the game, like, I'm not doing this. This isn't worth it. This isn't worth it. There's no gameplay interest here. The most interesting enemies in this game are the fauna. The random animals just skittering about. Those are the most interesting enemies. So in Destiny, you had the Cabal, you had the Fallen, you had the Hive, you had the Taken, even though the Taken were just amalgamations of, you know, all 3 put together. And then with the DLCs, you had variations on the Fallen. Again, they're just variations, but still. And even the Fallen had, within the Fallen, you had different types of Fallen. You had the Servitors, you had the Elders, you had Captains, etc., etc. You never ran out of unique things to kill. So you could be having to deal with things in different ways. In Anthem, there's none of that. You have the Scar, who are essentially bug people, but they just look like people, normal people in armor. Or you have the Dominion, who are just normal people in armor. And the most variation you get is maybe they'll have a javelin, and it will probably be a storm, because it's always a storm, and you might have to kill them. That's about it. And the Scar has like 1 flamethrower dude. Those are the 2 enemy types, and then you have the other random life around the world. The most interesting of which is the Titan, which is basically a really big human that can shoot fire from its back and shit. There's your most interesting foe, and it kind of gets you. You have a mission where it's introduced to you, but there's no point in doing that mission because you've already seen it when you're just going around the world naturally. There's no real uniqueness, there's no real interest, you don't care. So I think the best version of these games as a service games is without question either Warframe, which again is technically just a PC MMO ported onto Xbox and PS4, but Warframe is the best version, or, I can't believe I'm saying this, Monster Hunter World. I love the Monster Hunter series, but the difference is Monster Hunter is a very, very, very old series. So they've had a lot of time to kind of hone the game, hone the gameplay, hone the stories, of which there wasn't really much story in the original Monster Hunter games. It was, hey, you're a new hunter, go kill a thing. There was no cutscenes because it was a PlayStation game, it was a PSP game. You never had really much story. But then Monster Hunter World comes along and it gives you the story, it gives you interesting enemies. Everything you fight is interesting. You can't fight the same thing in the exact same way, otherwise the game will definitely punish you for it. Since then, they've had, you know, ties with loads of different games. They've had ties with Final Fantasy, where you fight the behemoth. They've had ties with The Witcher recently. They're gonna have a new area of the map unlocked with new monsters coming in. You know, a massive free update to the game. Destiny would have made you pay for something like that. Monster Hunter World is a games as a service game, complete, fixed. When it was released, you could put 700 hours into this game. Hell, you had to put 700 hours in order to actually complete it. That was the end game. And even though, like Anthem, it doesn't have PvP, it's still a shitload of fun. Like, you will go in there and you will find a unique monster, and you will just have fun hunting the shit out of it. Have fun learning its attacks, have fun dealing with it, have fun playing with other people. Anthem doesn't have that kind of appeal, because it's not designed for that. And the main draw of all these games is ultimately the loot. Anthem, as I've said already, doesn't have loot, and the loot it does have, the guns, are all the same thing, but with a new coat of paint. So instead of being a negative Nancy at the end of this video, I want to try and be positive. I've always said that it doesn't really matter if the game is updated later on. If the game isn't released properly when it's meant to be released, when it comes out, if it doesn't release right and it's not a full package, then the score that it gets at the release date is the score that should stay with it. So, you know, since it gets pretty much from everyone, Anthem gets a 4 at best, and by Metacritic, so I think it was a 6. I'm trying to be positive on this one. I think the game could be fixed with future updates and of course all that stuff that they always do with these types of games. It could definitely have promise. But if they make Anthem 2, and that's a big if, because I'm really not sure BioWare is going to survive any of this. If they make Anthem 2, they cannot do the same thing twice, because that will permanently kill BioWare. If they manage to make a second one, they're dead. If they do this again. You have to make the game properly. It can't be cut up into little pieces and sold in the wrong order. It has to be done right, otherwise BioWare's done. I'm sorry, but there's no other way. You have to do it right, or don't do it at all. Because I want BioWare to continue. I love their games. Like, I heard there's gonna be a new Mass Effect. I've heard that, rumors of that. Dragon Age 4. I do want all these things, but they have to do it right. I would like to know what you guys think about games as a service, as EA puts it, or these types of games. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that looter shooters can be good, or do you think they're all kind of doomed to fail? Do you think that there is still a place for them in current gaming, or with the way that Destiny, The Division, and Anthem have been released? Do you think they're all kind of dead in the water? But please let me know what you guys think in the comments. I will be happy to hear your opinions. If you want more types of videos of these types of discussions and what I think about game genres or different types of games, please let me know. And I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.